In the rich tapestry of the Church's history, certain saints emerge as beacons of light, guiding us through the complexities of life with their wisdom, compassion, and example. These saints, through their lives and teachings, illuminate the path for us, offering hope and direction in times of uncertainty. Saint Alphonsus Liguori, an 18th-century Italian bishop, lawyer, musician, and doctor of the Church, stands as such a luminary. His multifaceted life and contributions to theology, law, and music make him a remarkable figure in the annals of Church history. His profound insights into the spiritual life, particularly his teachings on total surrender to God's will, offer timeless wisdom for navigating the challenges and uncertainties of our modern age. His writings and reflections continue to inspire countless individuals seeking deeper spiritual fulfillment. Saint Alphonsus lived during a time of great intellectual and social upheaval, a period not unlike our own. The Enlightenment was reshaping thought, and societal norms were in flux, creating an environment ripe for both confusion and growth. He witnessed firsthand the struggles of everyday people grappling with doubt, fear, and a sense of spiritual dryness. His pastoral work brought him close to the hearts of those in need, allowing him to understand their deepest concerns and spiritual battles. It was out of this deep empathy for the human condition that his spirituality of surrender was born. He taught that in the midst of life's trials, turning to God with complete trust could transform suffering into a source of grace. He understood that true peace and lasting joy could only be found in complete trust and abandonment to the loving care of our Creator. His legacy continues to remind us that in surrendering to God's will, we find our true strength and serenity. At the core of St. Alphonsus's teachings lies a fundamental truth. We are created for union with God. This desire for closeness with the divine is woven into the very fabric of our being. It is the source of our deepest longings, our yearning for love, purpose, and fulfillment. Yet we often find ourselves lost and adrift, seeking happiness in fleeting pleasures and worldly pursuits. We strive for control, clinging to our own plans and desires, only to be met with disappointment and frustration. Saint Alphonsus reminds us that true peace comes not from bending the world to our will, but from surrendering our will to the loving embrace of God. It is in letting go of our need to control that we discover the freedom and joy that come from aligning ourselves with the divine plan. Total surrender, as taught by Saint Alphonsus, is not a sign of weakness or defeat, but an act of profound courage and trust. It is an acknowledgement that God's ways are higher than our ways, that His plans for us are far greater than anything we could imagine on our own. This surrender is not a one-time event, but a continual disposition, a daily choice to place our lives, our hopes, and our fears into the hands of a loving Father. Imagine a small boat being tossed about on a stormy sea. The waves are high, the wind is fierce, and the little vessel is in danger of capsizing. But then, a strong and steady hand reaches down and takes hold of the rudder. This is what it's like to surrender to God. We relinquish control, trusting that He will guide us safely through the storms of life. Saint Alphonsus often compares God to a skilled physician who knows exactly what medicine we need to heal our souls and bring us to wholeness. Just as a doctor carefully diagnoses and prescribes the right treatment for our physical ailments, God, in His infinite wisdom, knows the perfect remedy for our spiritual wounds. Just as we wouldn't presume to tell a doctor how to treat our illnesses, so too should we not try to dictate to God how He should work in our lives. We must remember that His perspective is far greater than ours, and His plans are always for our ultimate good, even if we can't see it at the moment. Our part is to trust in His wisdom and goodness, even when His methods seem painful or confusing. Trusting God means believing that He is always in control and that His love for us is unwavering, no matter the circumstances. Think of a time when you faced a difficult challenge, a moment when everything seemed uncertain and you felt overwhelmed. A time when you prayed fervently for God's intervention. You might have felt desperate, seeking a sign or a miracle to ease your burden. Perhaps your prayers were answered in a way you didn't expect, in a manner that was different from what you had envisioned. Or perhaps the trial continued longer than you had hoped. The waiting and uncertainty might have tested your patience and faith. It's in these moments when our faith is tested that the practice of total surrender becomes most crucial. Surrendering to God's will means letting go of our own desires and trusting that His plan is perfect. It's about saying, Lord, I don't understand why this is happening, but I trust that you are with me and that you are working all things for my good. This act of faith can bring peace to our hearts, knowing that we are never alone. Embracing God's plan for us means accepting His timing and His ways, even when they differ from our own. It is through this acceptance that we find true peace and fulfillment, knowing that we are in the hands of a loving and all-knowing God. One of the greatest obstacles to total surrender is our human tendency to cling to control. We like to feel in charge, to believe that we are the masters of our own destiny. Yet time and again, life reminds us of the limits of our understanding and the futility of trying to orchestrate every aspect of our existence. Surrendering to God means accepting that we don't have all the answers, that there are mysteries in life that we may never fully comprehend. This doesn't mean that we should become passive or apathetic. We are still called to live our lives with purpose and intentionality, but it does mean letting go of the need to micromanage every detail, to release our anxieties and worries into the care of one who loves us infinitely more than we could ever love ourselves. Total surrender is not a passive resignation to fate, but an active choice we make each day. It involves a deep, intentional commitment to trust in a higher power, even when the path ahead seems unclear or daunting. It is a conscious decision to place ourselves in God's hands, to trust in His providence even when we don't feel His presence or understand His ways. This trust is built over time, through moments of doubt and faith alike. This act of surrender can be expressed in simple yet profound ways. In our daily prayers, which serve as a constant reminder of our faith and commitment, in our acceptance of life's challenges, embracing them as opportunities for growth and learning, in our willingness to serve others, seeing service as a reflection of our love and compassion, and in our efforts to grow in holiness, striving to live a life that is aligned with our spiritual values and beliefs. Saint Alphonsus recommends a simple yet powerful prayer that encapsulates the essence of total surrender. I love whatever you will. This phrase signifies our acceptance and love for God's plan. I will whatever you love. This reflects our desire to align our will with God's. I leave to you the care of my salvation. This final line is a profound act of trust, leaving our ultimate fate in God's hands. By repeating this prayer throughout the day, we align ourselves with God's will, finding peace and strength in the knowledge that we are not alone in our struggles. This practice helps us to remain centered and grounded, no matter what life throws our way. Finding peace and strength in the knowledge that we are not alone in our struggles. It is a daily act of faith, a continuous journey of trust and surrender. Life inevitably throws us curveballs. We experience disappointments, setbacks, and losses that can leave us feeling lost and disheartened. It is in these moments of darkness that the practice of total surrender becomes our lifeline. Knowing that we are held in the loving embrace of a God who cares for us deeply allows us to face our trials with courage and even a sense of hope. When we surrender our fears and anxieties to God, we open ourselves to receiving His peace, a peace that surpasses all understanding. This doesn't mean that our problems magically disappear, but it does mean that we are given the grace to face them with a new perspective, knowing that we are not alone in our suffering. The practice of total surrender is not a magic formula for an easy life, but it does offer the promise of profound inner peace and spiritual growth. When we let go of our need to control, we open ourselves to receiving God's grace in abundance. We become more attuned to His voice speaking to us in the depths of our hearts, guiding us towards our true calling and purpose in life. As we grow in trust and surrender, we discover a newfound freedom and joy. We are liberated from the tyranny of our own ego, from the relentless pursuit of worldly pleasures that ultimately leave us empty and unfulfilled. In their place, we find a deeper, more lasting happiness that flows from our relationship with God. Saint Alphonsus Liguori's teachings on total surrender to God's will continue to resonate deeply with believers centuries after his death. His writings, filled with practical wisdom and heartfelt devotion, offer a roadmap for navigating the challenges of the spiritual life. He reminds us that the path to holiness is not about achieving spiritual perfection through our own efforts, but about surrendering our hearts to God and allowing His grace to work in and through us. His legacy is a testament to the power of surrender, a testament to the transformative love that awaits those who are willing to let go of their own plans and embrace the divine plan for their lives. Embracing God's will in our lives is not a passive resignation to fate, but an active and ongoing journey of transformation. It requires courage, humility, and a willingness to let go of our own limited perspectives and desires. Yet, it is precisely in this surrender that we discover our true identity and purpose as beloved children of God. It is a journey that leads us ever deeper into the heart of God, where we find peace that surpasses all understanding, joy that knows no bounds, and a love that casts out all fear. The teachings of St. Alphonsus Liguori invite us to embark on a transformative journey of total surrender to God's will. It is a journey that requires courage, trust, and a willingness to let go of our need to control. But it is a journey that promises to lead us to the very heart of God, where we discover true peace, lasting joy, and the fulfillment of our deepest longings. Let us embrace this call to surrender, not with fear or trepidation, but with open hearts and unwavering faith. For it is in giving ourselves fully to God that we truly find ourselves,